What's up, everybody? It's yet another one of your favorite scrappers, favorite nerds. Today, we are going to look at the Dreamstar Toys Shovelfighter. This is on loan to me from Jim. Jim helps me out a lot with my Discord over on Patreon, and we have a rocky history of getting stuff sent to one another, but hopefully this will start a new trend. I am grateful for the opportunity to take a look at this guy, though. My first impressions were overwhelmingly positive. We'll have to see if that stays the course in regards to the review. Only one way to find out, and that's to take a look at a figure, but in order to take a look at a figure, we got to take a look at accessories. So he comes with a gun, nice sculpt on it, black plastic and then gold accents. And this has a notch in the handle as opposed to a tab that will click onto the tab in his palm, and then you wrap the fingers around, and that's how he holds it just fine. The weapon does plug into a port in between the legs at the bottom of vehicle mode as well. Let's take a look at the figure, and we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. And I love the head sculpt. I think it looks great. My issue with the head sculpt is that they used a translucent plastic for the visor. Now, not only is that a poor choice if you're using light piping, because light piping has no place in the modern world, but this doesn't have light piping in it. I mean, it's technically light piping, right? Because it's translucent plastic, but there's no opening for the light to illuminate from, you know, outside of the kind of any other option, you know, so it's like it's always going to have dead eyes, which is a bummer. The black, I think, is a flat plastic. The silver is painted on and looks good. The head itself is on, I think, a ball peg. It might be a double ball peg. You get way up, way down, swivel, not really a confused scrapper look, but otherwise really great range. Shoulders. So you can have these tires, like they come in box sitting up a little higher. Totally up to you. You can have these wherever you'd like them to be. I think they look better a little bit more in line with the shoulder. That also allows for the articulation of the 90-degree upward movement, and then ratchet it around until you bump into the backpack. I didn't check to see if there's a butterfly on this Abilify joint. No. It is painted green, the metallic green, and then it has the pad printed paint on there for the caution symbols, as well as this V with the line through it, and then this sort of detailings in there, which do look good. We have a bicep swivel. We have a double jointed elbow that gets you the full range. Once again, pad printed paint for the caution, danger, high voltage, etc. You even get one on the hand, which is nice. Speaking of the hand, the wrist does articulate up and down, and it swivels, and the fingers are on a base pin knuckle. They come out to a secondary knuckle and a tertiary knuckle, and they're individually articulate. No, that's just the pointer finger. The other three are on the same hinges at all three knuckles, and then the thumb is individually articulated at a ball peg that comes out to a secondary knuckle and then a tertiary knuckle. So fully articulated index finger and thumb, and then the other three are all plugged together, which will work just fine. All right, torso, metallic purple, looks great. Pad printed paint throughout with these gold accents. We also got some silver there. That gives us silver and gold. And green stuff comes through. That's painted. Looks good. Ratcheted waist, works well. Very elegant ab crunch. Gets you over, hides those details nicely. Extremely well done. Back out a little bit. All right, hips. We have universal joints, ratcheted both ways. So you get full Monty, or full Van Damme rather. And full Monty. Thigh swivel, built around the universal. A little tight, but it's there. And then we have the thighs themselves. Once again, metallic green paint. We have some gunmetal in there as well. And then we have the pad printed paint on top, some silver accents. Nothing to turn your nose up at. We have a single hinge knee. I think. It could be a double. I can't tell. Either way, you get at least 90 degrees out of her. A lot of bulk that gets in the way as you get past 90 degrees. More pad printed paint for the danger and caution and all that kind of stuff. I love these like little like bars here. I think that that's cool. And then so you get a toe tilt down. Not really. That's part of the transformation. But you get an ankle rocker. No ankle tilt up or down, which is a bit of a bummer. The backpack also, you can manipulate this a little bit to kind of find a place that works best for you, but it's mainly kind of locked in place. There is a fair amount of stuff on his back as well, for whatever that's worth to you. But we've seen worse in recent days. Yeah, I think this is a really well done figure. This company, you know, I hate those aerial bots with a passion. But I like this a lot better so far. You know, the big challenge is coming up here shortly. But it reminds me a lot of G Creations, man. Like, and I don't know if I'm reading the tea leaves right there at all, and it's perfectly possible that I am not. But for what it is worth, it certainly reminds me a lot of G Creations. Still. There he is next to the X-Transbot Scrapper, so a full head length at least above him in terms of size. Obviously stylistically completely different, but very imposing aesthetic nonetheless. There he is next to Fans Toys Maverick, so about the same size as a kind of Fans Toys core bot or a Masterpiece scaled core bot these days, so hopefully give you some sort of idea. I'll show you one more with a car bot just to drive it home, so to speak. There it is next to just a regular car bot. So like it's going to be a large figure. Not sure how it's going to fit in with your collection outside of combine mode, but hopefully that'll give you a little bit of idea of how to implicate it. I don't have any Masterpiece IDW stuff, unfortunately, so that's the best I can do. All right, so let's get him transformed. Make sure that his knuckles are facing towards you and the back of his hands are facing away from you. And then spin the biceps 180 degrees. And then you want to open up this section here of the forearm, bring it down, and then fold the hand in on both sides. There, God bless. Stubborn little connection. All right, there we go. Fold the hand in. Extend the front end loader here. And this piece comes untabbed from the back and drops down. The shoulders come untabbed from the chest and swing down. And you can manipulate them in a way where they will plug back in to one another. At which point, this section of tabs here will plug in to that section there. And get these arms out the way. These two tabs here will plug into the front of this black piece there. And then this piece comes down. Now, the shoulder pieces here rotate. And we need to get this part right above the wrist to tab into the front there. But we need everything else to kind of stay together. All right, let me see that. Get this one. Let me start there and then see where I'm at and get you any cleanups. So yeah, everything I told you is right. If you have it lined up right at the end, these shoulder pieces will come down and sort of rest right along these black tabs that sit across here, and then you'll know that you got it right for sure. All right, let's take his chest out. Once you've got that released, take this part of the chest and fold it in, and then fold this second part in, and it's got to clear that piece of translucent plastic there. So as you go to manipulate it, just make sure that it gets tucked up in there. There. Not a whole lot of room for error. And then that's supposed to be tabbed into the back of his head there. And that's basically it. Now for this gray piece swings down. It's a tight little fit too. This whole piece rocks down. The toe comes down. And this section swings out. You also need to open the thigh up here. You need to swing this piece out to the side, extend this, drop this down, and pull the knee away from the kneecap. This wheel slides down, folds over, tabs back in. So the goal now is to get this leg bent around in a way where this circle of the armature that we unplugged from his butt tabs in to the green here. Now you've got two moving joints here in the knee. So I'm going to take one stab at it, and then I'm going to leave it up to you to figure it out. Oh, I got it. I'll clean it up and we'll move on. Take this thigh piece, bring this up and over here. And then we need to bring this up, but we do need to open up some of this. So there's a piece here that comes up. This comes up. And this needs to tab in to here. All right, there we go. So many pieces, dude, that have to line up around so many things. That piece tabs in. You just have to find it all. You know, that's pretty good on this side. It's not 100%, but it's a start. All right, then this piece comes around, and it's operating basically this tab here has to come underneath and tab into that panel there. This piece comes down, tabs in, then you can connect your safety bar here, and I'll let you sort that out on your own, just like I'm going to let you sort this out apparently. I'll clean it up obviously. This red translucent piece comes down, tabs into the side, yeah, and then there's a tab underneath the bottom of the feet that tabs into that gray plastic piece there. That's one side done. All right, other side. So we're gonna untab this gray piece. Once again, it's a pain. Rock that down on a double joint. This whole section will come untabbed. It was sitting up here like this. It'll come untabbed and rock down. And then, can you hear my dog? So obnoxious. Untab the foot here. Enough. Stop scratching. All right, and then we gotta do something else here. Open that up. Okay. All right, then unfurl this. This will slide out a bit. Rock that down. Undo your knee here. Undo your thigh, and you can rock that up. Then you can bring out your wheel. We're gonna fold at our knees, and we need to once again get that port on the green into that tab on the gray. And that's a pretty good job of it. Then we have all of this here on the side. So there's a number of pieces that unfurl. And there's this piece here that can be easily forgotten. And this needs to come up and over. There's a tab right here on the front of the gray that will tab into this section of the foot that we pulled out. There's a tab on the green that'll tab into the side of the purple there. There's a peg here that'll peg into the side of the translucent. And there's a tab here that will tab into the corresponding green. Same for here and here. Just a matter of trying to get it to work. I'm going to give it a little run here. On camera. But I'm not going to waste too much time with it. Yep. So I'll get that and I'll meet you back. It's not perfect, but it'll get us there. So once again, we're going to bring the toes forward. They tab into this gray piece. We're going to bring this green piece down. That will tab into the side. And then this piece folds around, tabs into the back here, cleans up, but mine has all come undone. This goes into that little circle here. I'll get it back to its fighting weight and we'll continue. So that's basically it with it all connected. I can't get this 100% right back here in the back. This piece flips over and like tabs it in. I don't have that 100% right. I can't get these things to stay in for anything. I do have to, you have to open this up and then open this up, but I think that's as close as we're gonna get it today. So rolls, real pain to get here. Not intuitive at all. Really unfortunate. The front end loader can obviously articulate, you know, down, up, etc. The headlights look good for the top. It looks very like farmland, like, you know, equipment green, like John Deere almost or something, you know, as opposed to like the typical Constructicon green. Even the Constructicon green that's in the IDW books, which is unfortunate. This foot has a hard time staying together for me, but underneath is really clean. Yeah, I just think, I think as per usual, you know, and I've heard so many people say, oh, it's so much better. I don't know if I agree that it's so much better. I think that once again, this is a sign of them being too big for their britches. Like, they are not equipped to handle this level of complexity and engineering with the type of toy that they make. And this one's no different. I love the way it looks. Sculpt-wise, I think it looks brilliant. Paint-wise, I think it looks great. I love the steps. I love the ladder rails and all that kind of stuff. Tremendous amount of effort went into making this thing look good. There's a lot of care in this. There it is next to Tiger Tracks. Huge old unit, you know? A lot of details. I love these like mirrors here on the side and everything. Like, they really tried to make it look good, but looks are not the problem here. User friendliness is the problem here, per usual. You know, and I have, I think, one more of their products here. I had their hook. I don't know if I'm going to continue to look at this stuff because it's very frustrating. You know, it's like it lowers my quality of life. One more mode. So we fold this in, we fold that in. We take this. There's two tabs here at the front of the windshield. And they tab into the armature. There's this piece here that comes out. There's two female connection points. And I think you just need one. At least that's all we're going to do today, I can tell you. Then there's a male, female here. And then untab these arms. The only piece that wants to stay tabbed in on this figure. Oh. Don't want that to happen. Let me fix that. We'll come back. This is what we needed to get access to. So straighten that out. Then you can untab your arms. And you want to rotate them forward. Make sure your feet aren't tabbed. They'll probably come untabbed anyway. You want to rotate them forward until you can tab in the same connection point, but now just with this gray piece straight instead of bent. And you can collapse, I think, these arms a bit. But not entirely, which is strange. Same on this side. Untab it from the side here. And then we just got to make sure that this gets tabbed back in. There. So that it's not sitting on the wheels anymore. It has a solid surface to sit on, which makes sense. And then these two pieces jut out the back and look good. Then you need to open this up. Or in my case, it never really got closed entirely, but open this up, open this up. Actually, I think you can leave these together. Open this up, open this up. These pieces here come off to the side. I'm not sure if they're gonna tab back into long haul. And then open these pieces up here. These are connector points. And then flip that piece up. And then you can bring all of this back and sort of tab it back in, and that's it. I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And there it is. You know, and it's impossible to tell how this is going to work out. I don't have high hopes, and I will not be looking at this in combine mode. I can pretty much guarantee that. You know, always and never. But obviously, I don't have that quite right either. These look a little. I think actually these come down also, but I'm not sure if these are supposed to connect another way to what's going on top or anything. So I'm just leaving them out to the side. You can do whatever you want when you get yours. And even this, right? Like, you can open this up. There's nothing that says you can't if you like the aesthetic better. But I think it's meant to be closed up. Even that looks, I don't know, better, I guess. I don't know, man. Not worth it. Not worth the effort for what you ultimately get. You know, and even if it did look better. But, you know, they just don't have the prowess to do this, in my opinion. Upon further examination, it was 166. That was my record before, not 165. And this starts off at number 1. Dreamstar Toys puts one on the board, and Takara lost me my streak. What a world. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. My biggest issue I didn't really talk about in my figure review, but because the hinge to the shoulders is inside the chest and not in the shoulder, you can't get an outward movement on the shoulder when you raise the hinge up. Like, you can't, like, put his arms, like, I mean, this is maybe not the friendliest reference for everyone, but in a crucifixion pose, for instance, like, you can't get the arm spread out that way. It can go up and it can go around, but it can't go out. I don't know how else to describe it. If I wanted his gun to not be pointing towards the camera, but instead be pointing towards the upper right hand of the screen, it would be extremely challenging to pull that off, because the hinge on his shoulder goes up and down, not forward and back, because the hinge is in the chest and not the shoulder. A lot of combiners have that issue too. So articulation wise, he's also limited in the ankle tilts, obviously, because he has neither ankle tilt up nor down. And the visor in robot mode hinders the robot head looking incredibly lifeless. There's all sorts of ways around that. Doesn't matter if you use electronics or not. There's tons of different ways to get around that in 2025. The transformation process is a nightmare, and it's just one of those situations where it's not fun, man, and it doesn't give you, like, the lock-in points to make it a fluid experience. Every time that you kind of gotta fiddle it around, where it has nothing to push against in order to line up with the thing it's supposed to tab into and all that, like, and you have a whole system that uses that same philosophy throughout, it never turns out well. And this one's no exception. And then even in robot mode, all that stuff he has hanging off the back that's just sort of unsightly, that's not good either. I didn't mention that, but I should have. Moving on to the positives, the materials feel great. The build is fantastic. The paint is beautiful, gorgeous, stellar, and continues to impress you at every turn. There's ratchets everywhere. Hips both ways, shoulders, knees, waist. Just every time you interact with it, it's clicking on you. The ab crunch is stellar and sophisticated and elegant, and the sculpt is cool. Stylized, it's supposed to be. Doesn't mean it's not cool. It is. The alt mode looks good. I'm sure it would look even better if you get it right. And the same goes for the combine mode. I just have no faith in this company, man. Zero. Absolutely zero. And in regards to a combiner, I just think it's not their strengths. I'm not sure what their strengths are, but this ain't it. And neither was the Silver Bullet or the Aerial Bots, and none of it. Like, nightmare fuel, man. Strong pass from me. I've heard a lot about them improving and being a different experience, and I guess it is somewhat remotely, but not enough. Got a long way to go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.